Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Maze. This is MazeCast episode number 17. I am the master of mazes, Carl. With me, as always, is my son, the apprentice, Stephen.
What's going on?
And we welcome you back. Glad to have you guys with us. We are in week 3 now of our weekly podcasts, and we will continue to be moving forward with weekly podcasts
If we can help it.
we have a lot going. We've got so much going on in the maze. So we are both hunkered down waiting for this crazy storm to blow through.
Yep.
But we wanted to get some content up since we might be without power for the next couple of days. But anyway, let's jump right into it. So what's going on at the maze right now? We wrapped up our first plot hook for our Kingdom of Keshinar campaign, a D&D 5e campaign, which runs every other Friday night. We have a game coming up this coming Friday, the 30th. So we're looking forward to that. We will start a new plot hook for our players, and they are pretty excited about it, and so am I. So Kingdom of Keshinar, got some feedback from Dave over at Orthane Productions. They are buttoning up the books now. They plan on shipping those off to the printers in the next 10 to 14 days. And the PDF should be available to us in about a week to 10 days. So we're looking forward to getting that PDF. Getting my hot little hands on the setting book and getting some of that worked into my campaign as well. So we also wanted to talk to you guys about the Order of the Flagon. That name is still pending. We might switch it over to Order of the Tankard. We don't know. We're kind of still playing with it. But that is the new paid game I have for D&D 5e that will be set in the Forgotten Realms. We do have a recap of that up over on our website, and we will have a link for that in the show notes for you guys to check out if you haven't already done so. Just briefly talked about the session 0 that I ran for them a week ago, where we all sat down, made up our characters. We've got a pretty good mix of players, but you can read about that in our recap, so we'd like you to go over to the website and check that out. Our next game, our first session for that game will be on Saturday, February 7th. So looking forward to that. The guys are looking forward to it, so it's going to be a pretty good time. So we hope you guys will check that out as we post up notes for that as well. Also wanted to talk to you guys about the session we had last night. We had a session 1 for the Master and Apprentice campaign, where I have my son Stephen is playing. We have his friend Josh, and then my friend and Stephen's friend Nathan. Strangely enough, Nathan is my wife's ex-husband, but we're all good friends, and he's played D&D with us prior. He hasn't played in a while. He's never played 5e. As a matter of fact, nobody at that table has played 5e. Josh has never played a live game of D&D in his life. Stephen has not played since we played when he was a kid in 2nd edition. Nathan has not played since 2nd edition. So we had session 0 a couple weeks ago, and we finally got our session 1 in last night. Stephen, what are your thoughts? How did you enjoy the game last night?
It was awesome. It pretty much. What's funny is like I part of me wondered like, is this gonna feel as fun as it used to since I'm older and I've gotten into video games and have so many other hobbies? Like, am I really gonna fall back into it? And honestly, 100%, I fell back into it. I had so much fun. I'm gonna write up a recap from my perspective for our site. So I'm not going to give too much away, but I will say, like, I got into hijinks and, me and the boys fell in messing with each other and stirring up stuff. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was 3.5 hours and it was gone. Like, before I knew it, I looked down and it was 1 a.m. And I was like, oh my God. Like, and they'll tell you, everybody will tell you, like, my biggest fear was like, oh my God, we're going to get to the end. I got to wait 2 weeks again. And if the product can be like, you're sad that it's over, that's pretty good. So we all decided we're gonna do it in 1 week instead. We're gonna do it next Saturday. Because none of us wanted to wait 2 weeks again. We were all. I mean, we had been talking in the Discord for forever. It felt like talking about, oh, it's almost here, 1 more week. Oh, it's almost Friday, and then we finally got there. We're like, oh my God. I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. The plot right now, like I said, I won't give too much away, but the story that Dad's cooked up so far is really fun. It ended on a very funny note, so I'll write all that up. Y'all can check that out. But overall, we had a blast. I know Josh texted Dad after the campaign and was like, dude, I had so much fun. That was incredible. I can't wait to play more. And him and I were talking after the game last night, very early into the morning, going into today. We were talking all day. So
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's exciting to watch people at the table having fun. You guys were all engaged. You were laughing. You were interacting with one another. You were interacting with the NPCs in the environment. So that helps feed my enthusiasm for the game. That's where, for me as a DM, my enjoyment at the table comes in, is watching
mhm.
my players have a good time and knowing that the efforts I've put into it are appreciated. And I really felt that last night when at the final scene there was the perfect place for me to end the session. We ran about 15, 20 minutes over, but I got the perfect place to end the session, leave it on a cliffhanger for session two. And, I love that thing where you just leave it at a cliffhanger and everybody's like, no, I'm going to keep playing.
Mhm.
So that was great. And then it really kind of took me by surprise when Josh sent me that message through Discord. And he's like, I had so much fun. This was so much better than I thought it was going to be. On a scale of 1 to 10, this was a 12. And I'm like, that's awesome. I love hearing that kind of feedback, knowing that the people at the table are enjoying themselves. So
Yeah.
we're all
And
looking forward to it again. And we didn't want, like Steven said, we didn't want to wait 2 weeks. So we will be playing on I believe it's
Saturday.
January 31st
Yeah.
on Saturday. Yep.
Yeah, and that's also, again, I think we said this, but Josh had never played any tabletop game ever. So it's
Yeah.
not just he hasn't played in a while or he's played other games. Like he's like, I have zero idea what to expect. And
Right.
we were talking. It's like he was like, dude, it's just crazy how like we can make a decision and like now things are going that way and like there's it's just the illusion of like limitless choice and kind of like this world that kind of sprawls out in front of you and there's not any real boundaries other than like, yeah, we
Right.
shouldn't run up there and kill the king, or yeah, we shouldn't do this because that would be bad. But like other than that, there's like no like boundary, you know. And
Yeah.
for people that have
Yeah.
never
And that's
experienced that on a tabletop game, I know it's and we have this conversation a lot, but like I know it's kind of daunting to get into one and find somebody to run it and find friends to play with. It took us 6 months, and I mean, this is Dad and mine's like pastime basically. Like when we're not
yep.
working, we're working on this project. That's what we're doing. Um,
Yep.
and it took us the better part of a year to get a group and to get people together and so I know it's
Yeah.
hard
Just
but
get schedules to align and
yeah, but like the payoff is just so good when you can have somebody like Josh was like cracking up laughing and having fun and getting into the game from minute one. Like we started the game, he was
yeah.
already laughing, so it's just
Yep.
cool to see and cool to share something with people like that.
Yeah. So we will have Stephen actually uh, videotaped the entire.
Yeah, I
He
did.
basically recorded the entire session. So he's going to pick out some little bits and pieces to share with you guys. We will
Yep.
put that up over on our website and we'll have it up on YouTube for you guys to view so you can kind of see the enjoyment level and kind of what we had going on.
Yep.
We did play via Discord and we will be playing on Roll20 for combat and things of that nature. So look forward to sharing that with you guys, and Stephen will get his write up, and then we will get a link for that for you guys to check out as well.
Yep.
So let's jump into our TTRPG and TCG news. Stephen, Lorwyn has finally dropped.
Yeah. So yesterday, Lorwyn finally came out. Obviously, if you're a Magic player, go ahead and get your packs and start ripping packs open. The deck is very good. Every single card I've seen, there's viability in draft. But really, what this what my little news tidbit for this was today is apparently somehow 61 of the TMNT cards were leaked and or maybe physically included in some of the Lorwyn pre-release packs. People are pretty mad because this is something akin to this has happened before, where Wizards
Right.
leaked a Universes Beyond set right at the release of a in-universe set, and
Right.
we're going into year 2 or 3 of people feeling like Wizards kind of takes their own IP for granted and they're going for the licenses. Um, but I'll have an article about that on MTG Rocks in the show notes. You can check it out. But I heard through Tolarian Community College and Meaty Magic and all that, them talking about it. I still think the hype around Lorwyn is up there. People are really happy with the set, but TMNT looms around the corner. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to grab a pack of those because I really want the land cards
Oh
that
yeah.
are the different pizzas. I think that's awesome. But I totally get why Magic players feel, and I think everyone can kind of relate to something that you care about feeling like it's getting kind of, shunned in the corner for something that's more profitable for a company. Um,
Right.
so I hope that Lorwyn at least gets its time in the sun for a little bit before we move on to the next thing. So anyway, just a little tidbit of
Yeah,
notes there. I hope
don't.
y'all are having fun.
Yeah, I don't really know what would prompt them to do that. I mean, like you brought up, they've done it before. They released
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man cards before
Yep.
before launch as part of another set.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's just kind of a sneak peek or it's trying to build interest for an upcoming set. But I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense. If you've hyped Lorwyn, I'm going out, I'm picking up a set, I'm expecting Lorwyn cards. If I open up a deck and half of them are TMNT cards, well, what if I don't have any interest in picking up the TMNT cards?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm kind of feeling like I got kind of shafted because I've got half of a deck I can't use or don't want to use. So what
Yeah.
do I do with those
Well,
cards?
especially since they reading the article word for word, it says that the TMNT cards appeared in Lorwyn Eclipse pre-release kits. So it's like if you're going to a pre-release event and either playing in a game for a kit or buying one, you really want Lorwyn stuff. Like you're going out of your way to it's not just like you're going to a store and buying it. You're going to a store for a pre-release event and probably either playing a game for one as a prize or paying a scalper for one. And then you open it and it's like, oh, this is cards from the TMNT release in March or whenever it is. And it's like, I get it. Like maybe if they were just bonus cards, like you just got one and it's like, oh, check out our next thing. But from what I understand, it's not just like they're dropping a bonus card in your pack. They're dropping more than a few. I think like I said, it's been 61 that have been cataloged in kind of people have online for you to go just look at. So again, I don't know how I feel about it, and I feel like Magic people are pretty mad about it. But anyway, Lorwyn looks great. So if you bought Lorwyn packs and you're playing at your local game store, I hope you have fun. There's some really sick cards in there that when my packs finally come in, I will be excited to pull.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in TMNT because I've always been a TMNT fan.
Yeah.
I remember the old black and white comics when they came out in the 80s. And it was basically they were slicing up actual people. They weren't robots. I understand they went kid friendly, and that's fine. I've always liked the darker, grittier TMNT. I really like the last Ronin storyline, so definitely some interest for me there. I don't know if I'll collect the cards, but I'm definitely interested in checking it out and seeing what they've got going on.
Yeah.
Anything TMNT is always going to hit my radar, so we'll check that out, and we'll give you guys some feedback once Steven gets his Lorwyn cards. I'm sure he'll do a write-up over on the website for you guys to check it out.
Yeah.
So, next we're going to jump into some Kickstarter and Backerkit news. There is a Complete Class Compendium coming out as basically a third-party content for D&D 5e. Yep. It basically is going to have a dozen new character classes that you can add to your game.
I can run through those if you'd like. Yeah. So there's quite a bit in here, but I think kind of the main selling point of this backer kit is the class editions. I'll just name all of them. I don't want to go too far into it. I want people to kind of look at it themselves. But there is a Blood Weaver, which I imagine is a blood magic user, a Fey Walker, a Freak, a Mechanic, an Occultist, a Scrapper, a Speedster, a Mad Scientist, an Exemplar, a Doctor, a Diabolist, and a Gemini. Are the 12 classes.
Okay. I mean, there's some interest there, but for me, having
classes are already kind of saturated, right?
5 or 6 years. I mean, I don't even know. I've lost count on how many subclasses there are, how many specialty classes. We've got to be pushing 100 at this point. I mean, seriously.
I think where this kind of stuff fits.
And it's fine. It's fine because some of those character classes will fit. There will be somebody who's like, hey, I've played these other character classes. I want to try something different. And maybe one of these character classes will jive with a character build that they had in mind. And that's fine. Right. Me personally, I probably won't back it because I've got more than enough character classes to play.
Sure.
And I allow my players flexibility at the table. If they want to try something new, we can sit down and hash it out together. But Yeah, I mean, definitely, I can see where that would come into play in somebody's
Well,
table.
I think for the one use of this, right, is if there is somebody that's played everything, which honestly probably not many people have, right? But another way
Right.
to like kind of give these additional classes value is just kind of make, instead of running the entire roster of subclasses and subclasses, pick out, like, if you're a
Mhm.
DM maybe, or if you're like organizing a
Yeah.
game, pick out some of these classes that are these different unique classes and give
Yeah.
those as a choice to your character and be like, hey, this plane or this campaign that we're playing in, this area that we're playing in, these are going to be the classes of the heroes, and you would pick from these instead of all of the other ones, and that'll kind of
Right.
force some variety into your game. um, like I said, I mean, I don't think many people have played through everything. So in my opinion, where
No. No.
stuff like this will kind of shine is if you kind of force yourself, or the campaign forces you to interact with new and different content. So I just wanted to
Yeah.
highlight that
Yeah.
this was pointed out to me on Instagram by a few different pages that I follow. The art is really
Hmm.
really awesome. Um,
Hmm.
so I'll have a link to the Backerkit there if you want to check that out. The art's great. There is a PDF for the Gemini that you can check out that's really detailed and fleshed out for you. That class looks really fun. So if you're looking for some variety in your classes, you're building a new campaign and maybe a new setting, check this one out. It looks really high quality.
Yeah. I mean, some of those sound like they could be neat, especially for like a BBEG or something like that, or a plot foil for the characters like the Diabolist. Cultist they already kind of have in the monster manual, but it's not a playable class, obviously, but
Right.
still neat. So definitely worth looking into. Let's talk about the big old elephant in the room
Oh
as
boy.
we jump into pop culture news, movies, video games. The He-Man live-action movie trailer has dropped. It hit
Oof.
about 2 days ago. Yeah, so I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, let's face it, our last live action movie was with Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella. I will die on the hill that Frank Langella was an amazing Skeletor. Dolph Lundgren was passable as He Man. Obviously, it was low budget. They ran over budget. It ended kind of on a flop, but it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, it's kind of a cult classic at this. This one definitely looks like big budget. They definitely went all out on special effects and backgrounds and stuff. I really like the looks of the scene set on Eternia. So definitely super hyped about that. I did kind of laugh when Adam shows up and he is wearing a pink shirt like he did in the old Funimation video cartoon, where he was all and wherever he was Adam, he always had a pink top on. So I thought that was kind of funny. There's some scenes in it that look good. I like what they did with Skeletor. I think Battle Cat and Cringer look great. I think I think that what little you did see, and you only saw the backside of her, the sorceress and Grayskull looks good. Um, Castle Grayskull looks pretty decent. Um, I just don't know that it's going to be a big screen movie for me. I think, and even my wife, who is a much bigger Masters of the Universe fan than I am, she has all of her action figures from the 80s. She gets all the Evil Lyn action figures because she's a big Evil Lyn fan. I don't, even she said, it looks good, but I don't think we'll go to the theater and see it. So I think that will be a wait for it to come out on streaming for us. Um, I'm not crapping on it by any means because I don't know enough about it. It just, the trailer didn't wow me. It definitely caught my attention. I think it was more than I thought it would be, but it wasn't what I hoped it would be. So I'm a little kind of lukewarm on it. So that's all I'll say on it. Stephen, what were your thoughts?
I think the Eternia stuff looked pretty good. Um, I get, the whole, like, let's have him on Earth and then have a story of getting him back and kind of finding his way, and I get that because that's going to resonate with people and it's going to kind of give you more storytelling elements that you can use. Um,
Right.
I honestly, outside of the characters, which, the good thing about Master of the Universe, a lot of the characters are they're very Master of the Universe, right? Like they're known
Right.
in that IP. They're not generic heroes, um, or they're not anymore now that it's a famous IP.
Right.
But I'm worried
Right.
that the rest of the movie looks generic. Like, it just looks like every
Yeah.
other finding yourself fantasy. Oh, I'm actually this super powerful guy, and like, I'm hoping maybe that I'm wrong, and they find some cool plot hooks and some ways to push the narrative. But I'm gonna see it. I'm not gonna go to the theater because who wants to pay $40 for a movie anyway? Um,
Yeah.
I hope they maybe have some cool plot hooks and some fun ideas. I do. It's interesting at first glance. I liked Skeletor, and then I watched the trailers a few more times, and now I'm not 100% sure that I like his design. But that could just be because he's literally a guy with a skeleton's head. So like, how does that
Yeah.
look in live action? Who knows? Do you know who the
And I
actor
don't
is
know
that's
how
playing him?
it's Jared Leto.
It's Jared
And
Leto.
I don't know how excited I am about that. I'm not a
Yeah.
big Jared Leto fan. I'm really not. Um, I don't know. We'll have to see if he's Jared Leto playing Skeletor, or if he's an actor actually selling me on Skeletor.
Yep,
Because,
yeah.
like I said, Frank Langella set the bar pretty high,
Uh,
so he's got some big shoes to fill.
we'll call it 30 seconds to Eternia if he does bad. That's what we'll call it for his band.
Yeah, that's
And
what we'll call it. So.
yeah, it's Morbid time.
So we'll have a link to the video trailer up on YouTube, where it's at over on YouTube, in the show notes for you guys if you want to check it out. Please do let us know what your thoughts are. Are you a Masters of the Universe fan or not?
Mm-hmm.
Sound off. Let us know what you think. I'll tell you what, there is one that's got us pretty excited. Steven, do you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, Maul Shadow Lord is coming out from Lucasfilms. If you like Darth Maul and you like, I'll say the animation quality looks about to the same level of like Into the Spider-Verse, which in my opinion,
Yeah.
like the Spider-Verse, the two animated movies have like some of the best animation I've ever seen. This looks to be
Yeah.
about the same quality, and it's about Darth Maul. It's basically, other than his small stint in some of the extended animation like Rebels and stuff. This is a
Right.
dedicated animated, I think, show, right? It's a show.
Right. I think it's supposed to be a show. Yeah.
That is all about Darth Maul and his climb back, against the Emperor. The Emperor basically turned his back on him, wants him dead, and this is Maul's kind of resurgence. I'm imagining what's going to happen is it's going to fill the gap between the stuff you saw about Maul kind of right after Qui-Gon or right after Obi-Wan cut him in half, and then you saw him fight Ben Kenobi, Old Man Kenobi, in the Rebel show. I believe.
Yep.
This will fill that entire gap. I imagine is what they're going to do with it. And it looks incredible. I mean, it's Darth Maul cutting up stormtroopers and being a badass. So like, I don't know how you could not like that.
I haven't been this excited for a Star Wars show in a while.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Mandalorian Grogu movie,
Mm-hmm.
but not as excited as I am for this, and probably because I got two seasons of Mandalorian on television.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the show.
It was good.
But it left off in a decent place. I don't really need a movie. I'll see the movie. I probably won't go to theaters to see it. I'll probably wait for it to go streaming.
Yeah.
But I saw this and I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for the first time in a while, I'm excited about a Star Wars show. So I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah,
so
I think I'm really hoping this is what we can expect. I mean, I feel like Dave Filoni's been the guy for a while, and I finally feel like, Disney is realizing, okay, the fans are not happy with 80% of what we're doing. Let's change. And so, Ahsoka season 2, I'm very excited for. I loved Ahsoka. It was such a good show. You got Maul Shadow Lord. I don't really know. Is there any news at all about like the next trilogy of live action movie? Like, has anyone said anything?
I haven't heard anything. I think there's been murmurs. So anyway, I think with Filoni at the head and Disney dialing back their DEI, I think that maybe they're starting to move in the right direction. And I'd really like to see them get back to canon, kind of get back to what attracted people to Star Wars in the first place. There was lore to it. You didn't mess with the lore. You added to it. You filled in gaps. but you didn't go in and try to rewrite it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where Disney fell short, was in an effort to try to appeal to a broader base of fans. They alienated long-standing fans to try to bring in new fans, and that's not how you grow the fan base.
Yeah, I've always
So
been
I
so
think,
confused by that kind of stuff because it's like people like good writing and good stories. Like I don't know
yeah,
anybody that's like I like good writing and good stories, but only as long as the
yep,
character resembles me in real life. No, like most people are like, I just
yeah.
like good stories, man. Like I don't care like about. So it's like it's only like a
Well,
corporation level thing
yeah,
where they're like, let's make sure to do X and Y, but it's a business decision. It's the problem is these people, like we said before, they're in suits, they're making decisions in a boardroom, and they're not making decisions for the franchise or for the fans. They're making decisions
right,
for themselves. What's going to make the most money next year by our projection, right?
right. And don't rewrite canon. You
Nah,
know, if it's been working for almost 50 years now, it's not broken. Don't try to fix it.
right.
So, you know, let's go back to kind of the way things were. I think Filoni will do that. So I'm pretty excited to see what he does with it. So,
Yep.
you wanted to talk a little bit about Deadlock?
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody that if there's anybody that's watching this, I know I've talked about Deadlock a few times, but they just dropped the biggest update that they've ever dropped. They added 6 new heroes, um, which is crazy because the game only had like 20 before, so they like almost like
Right,
doubled the hero pool, or like 50% of the hero pool. Um, it's called Old Gods and New Blood is the new update. 6 new heroes,
right.
tons of balance changes, new items, a whole new mode. They changed the map, they changed the lighting and graphics system. Um, the entire game feels completely different. It's just it's so sick. Valve has been cooking so hard with this that they're going to give them a Michelin star. It's unbelievable how good this game is. Like
Yeah.
I have been talking about how good this game is forever. It's still an alpha. I wish everybody could play it. They cannot. I can't wait. The new heroes are
Right.
Silver, which looks like a werewolf character. She's like a blonde, like barbarian looking chick with a lever action, and she
Okay.
turns into a werewolf, which is insane. Um,
That's pretty cool.
there's a new character that he looks kind of like a void version of like a cat, and he's got a nightcap on, and his name is Rim, and apparently he's like a very, very like annoying character to play against because he can put you to sleep, which is hilarious. Um, there's a necromancer called Graves, like looks to be like a duelist character named Apollo, a wizard named Celeste, and then in my opinion, he kind of looks like Van Helsing, and his name is Venator. These characters look
Okay.
sick. There is a community event right now. As you play, every round you play, you get a vote, and you can cast your vote. And each week, the hero with the most votes gets added into the game. So, check it out. If you
Wow.
haven't played this in the last couple months, this game is popping off like crazy. If by any chance anyone that's watching this wants to play it, I'm in the alpha, and I believe I can add whoever wants to play. If you're like, man, this game sounds great, but I'm not invited, I can invite people. So it's a
Okay.
great game. It's super sick. Check it out. This update's insane.
Awesome. That sounds great. The one that we are both super hyped about is Fable.
Oh yeah.
So, Fable, back in the day on the old Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
Steven and I both used to play Fable, Fable 1, Fable 2, Fable 3.
Yep.
And that game, we spent so many hours on that game.
Oh yeah.
And I love that game. And when I saw that they were redoing it, you know, my immediate response was, "Oh no,
Mm-hmm.
is somebody going to come along and try to fix something that's not really broken?" And you know, Lion Games is the ones who are redoing it. I believe it's a British-based company, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And they are. I watched a short video, and we'll post a link to that video in the show notes for you guys to check out. They are fans of the original game. They were players back in the day, and they are basically paying homage. And this is kind of a love tribute to that game. They've updated the graphics, obviously. They've added a little bit of playability to it, but everything that I've seen from what they've shown so far is very true to the game.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a lot of flexibility for character creation. You know, you can choose your race, you can choose your sex, you can basically you know, fine tune what your character looks like and all,
Mm-hmm.
how they dress, everything. And I'm just like super excited about it,
Yeah.
especially with the level of interaction you have with NPCs in the world.
Mm-hmm.
How like your reputation, how you dress, everything will determine how these folks interact with you. It just
Yeah.
looks really great.
Fable's always done a good job. I mean, it's the game that started the whole, like, if you're bad, you look more and more satanic, and if you're good, you look more and more
Right.
angelic. And then there was some interaction with NPCs in the old games. You could get married, and you'd have a wife. Like, I remember playing Fable 3, and, like, my wife got killed by, like, an assassin or some crazy shit.
Yeah.
So, like, the game, they were always great. And I misspoke. So Lionhead was the original studio. The
Okay.
ones that are doing the new one, and I told Dad wrong, but it's Playground Games. They've
Playground
done
games.
games
Okay.
like Forza Horizon and stuff, so they're a large studio. But what I love about the new games is, like, I don't know how to describe it, but the original ones had, like, it is Lionhead was a British company. And they had, like, that weird, like, deadpan British humor in the game. Like certain things would happen,
Yeah.
and you were like, even as a kid, I like something would happen, and I was like, wait, that was like funny, or that was like this weird slapstick moment inside of this D&D game or this
Yeah.
fantasy game. Um, and they've,
Right.
like, kept that in this new game. So I mean, Dad was saying, they're talking about how they are very true to the old game. They just basically want to just bring that game to a new generation of players. It seems like they just kind of tweaked the game, added better graphics, and they're keeping the soul of the game intact, which is good. Because, I mean, Fable 3 for me, I've said this story before, but, like, there was one year that Fable 3, Left 4 Dead, and Fallout 3 all came out on the same Christmas. And those
Yeah.
are the three games that I kind of say, like, are my big three games that, like, got me into video games. Like, that's when my mind shifted into
Right.
that. But Fable 3 it's just so good. I cannot wait until this new game comes out.
Oh, I'm super excited about it. So we'll have a link to the video that we watched in the
Hmm.
show notes for you guys to check out.
Yeah,
Hopefully, you're as excited for it as we are. Have you played the Fable games before? If you have, let us know what your thoughts are. Have you checked out this remake? Let us know what you guys think. We'd love to hear from you.
yeah. If you haven't seen this video,
But
it
with
is an
that,
11-minute gameplay video, which is fairly new.
it is,
So
and
sorry to cut you off.
it's amazing. I mean, all kinds of things, and it just, I feel like it's in pretty good hands. So I'm pretty
Hmm.
excited for it.
Me too.
So let's jump into our extra loot segment, which is how we always like to wrap our episodes. So we want to talk about what's coming soon.
Mhm.
We are getting ready to go into February, so basically right now I am running 3 paid games. So that's keeping me pretty busy on the weekends, and then my downtime is normally spent prepping for those games, or writing articles for the website, updating the socials and stuff, so you guys know what we have going on. But we do have GalaxyCon Richmond coming up in March.
Hmm.
So I will be traveling up to Virginia to spend the weekend and maybe a couple days extra with the Apprentice
Yep.
and his lady love at their wonderful home in Virginia near the coast. And then we will be driving over to Richmond together to spend some time at GalaxyCon, get some gaming in,
Hmm.
maybe get the Master of Mazes out there if we can, maybe shoot a few shorts for you guys, maybe get a couple interviews in if we can.
Hmm.
So that's something that we're looking forward to, is the two of us together for the second time now doing some stuff for the website. So we're
Yep.
pretty excited about that. We're going to have a lot of things coming at you guys pretty quickly. We're going to be doing, like right now, we're doing the weekly podcast. We will be doing recaps of all 3 games that I'm running. We will also be doing individual blogs. My Instagram is going to pivot a little bit with the shift that they've done with the limiting of hashtags. My content viewership has dropped off about almost by 50%. And that's because they're limiting hashtags, and they've got some new algorithm that's supposed to be driving traffic to the site. It just doesn't seem to be doing it. So over there, we will post some new photos, miniature art, things like that, game photos. But I'm going to start doing some segments of like DM tips and things like that to see if that engagement will help drive some numbers on that website there. Other than that, just look for some blog posts and things from us as we continue to crank out content for you guys and to get things out to you and give some love back to this community that we both care about so much.
Hmm.
So, Stephen, you've had some questions for me, and I've got one for you. So why don't you lead off, and then I'll ask mine, and you can end with your last one.
Sure. Just kind of a fun little warm-up question here. If you were to have one weapon for an entire D&D campaign, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't know which class you're going to play yet, you have to pick the weapon before you know, what would that weapon be? So think
Okay.
versatility. across
Yeah.
all classes?
So the thing with D&D 5e that I like, as opposed to like first edition or even second edition, is any class can use any
Which
weapon.
I also
So
love.
if I had to pick,
Love that.
which I also love, yeah. So if I had to pick one weapon that I think would be a good versatile weapon, an all around useful weapon, utilitarian weapon, I'd have to go with an axe, like a hand axe,
That's a good
or
idea.
yeah, I'd say like maybe a hand axe, because I can use a hand axe to chop wood. I can
Hmm.
use the back end of it to knock somebody out or drive nails, um, and it's still a decent weapon. So I think it would probably be, if I had to choose it before I chose the class, I'd say I'd probably go with hand axe.
I went with short sword just because, like, I feel like short sword can kind of
Short
come in
sword's a good
handy
one
for
too.
like anybody. It's like long enough you can fight with it. I was gonna think daggers, but daggers are too small for a lot of stuff. So I went short sword.
Yeah, short sword's a good one. So if you had the ability to play any class
Hmm.
in a D&D game that would allow you to kind of have a little more flexibility at the table. I mean, right now you're playing a rogue in my game,
Hmm.
in our master and apprentice game. Is there any is there any class that you would like to play in an upcoming game that you haven't had an opportunity to play yet?
So yeah, actually, I do have an answer for this because you gave one to me. An artificer, because
Okay.
no, because you said no one had ever played it at your table before.
Nope.
Um,
Nobody's even offered to play it.
so
Yeah.
that's why it's interesting to me because like then it's kind of because like why I'm playing a rogue at your table, but I'm also playing it in like a
Hmm.
different format. And I'm playing it as like a support
Right.
utility rogue. I'm not really going backstabby, stealth archer rogue. I'm going kind of battlefield controller. But I'd say
Yeah.
artificer. I actually thought about that a lot after I was gonna pivot my character, but we had already kind of set
Hmm.
up everything, and I'm like, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Right.
But if I'll
Right.
when I play another campaign, because I'm gonna say when, because it's we're having so much fun.
Yeah.
It'll probably unless we're playing somewhere where it doesn't make sense. I'd try an
Hmm.
artificer.
Yeah. I think an artificer's got a. There's a lot of fun that can be had with an artificer. So yeah, that's a good one. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
What's your last question for me?
So this one might be a little open ended, but I was just thinking about it. Doing some notes for just some like TTRPG design that we're kind of working on for fun. Is there a
Hmm.
class like let's just say is there like a fantasy like a class fantasy or a kind of character in your opinion that's lacking and not like in tabletop games like let's just say the top 3 5e Pathfinder Daggerheart. Is there a class there that when you're thinking about it you're like man they don't have something that fits like this niche or this class fantasy for me. Like I would want to play like not necessarily like in actual functionality, but maybe a class fantasy that you can't fit into.
So, so I know that Daggerheart doesn't have it at all.
Hmm.
5e has just recently released a new class, a new subclass for it, because they have done it a disservice for years. Um, Pathfinder tried to lean into it a little bit, and I think they have just now, with their new book that is coming out this year, they are finally doing an actual dedicated class, and that's a necromancer.
Hmm.
Um, Necromancy spells are in the game, have been for years. You would even have like villains and stuff in the game that were quote unquote necromancers, but they never really had a dedicated subclass of wizard for the necromancer. I think there's been some homebrew ones, there's been some attempts in the past, but nothing has really stick or felt like true to what I feel a necromancer should be. When we played Pathfinder a couple years ago, I tried to play a necromancer and it felt a little clunky. There was a specific build path that you could take to do a necromancer. Um, but I mean, you basically had to go online and watch videos of people building it to figure out, okay, what do I take for my pass, my feats, what skills do I need to take and all to build it to be an effective necromancer
Hmm.
and be able to help my party and not be a hindrance. Um, but now they're all starting to actually make dedicated subclasses for a necromancer, and I think it's long overdue.
Hmm. I'm with you there. I just threw some like random 3 together, but I think in my limited knowledge, I think it'd be fun to have a class that almost is, and this kind of sounds like self-destructive, but like a class that's almost like non-combative, and have a class that's full support. Like I called it just in my notes a warlord, or like a band leader,
Okay.
where you're like in the background and you're
Okay.
like buffing your teammates, but maybe in the combat phase, instead of like, oh, I attack with this or I do this, I have to like prioritize my teammates. Okay, I'm buffing him with this particular buff, and then I'm buffing him, and then I'm adding
Right.
one armor class to him because he's about to get hit. So it's like this maestro
Right.
kind of class where I'm not necessarily
Yeah.
fighting, but I'm adding and subtracting damage from the overall pool that's happening. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. So kind of like a yeah,
Like a
yeah, kind of like a
strategist.
battlefield commander.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a strategist or battlefield commander. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be fun.
And
Um, the only thing I would caution on that is
mhm,
if your entire build is built towards combat, then in the other pillars like exploration and
sure.
roleplay, you might be in the background,
Sure. Yeah,
and
and
that would be my
that's true. I
concern.
mean, I guess you'd have to talk about like your character's background or any kind of proficiencies you have. You'd have to weigh it like
Yeah,
anything, but I mean, every
you
and
could you
like
could
I want.
offset that with proficiencies and skills and good role
Sure,
playing, but
and like I want classes to be able to be played solo, or be played kind of like you can move off on
right,
your own and not be totally reliant. But I do think like it'd be kind of
right,
fun to have a class that's like solely based, not just have like one spell that like buffs a teammate. Like why not have one that's like his
right.
entire combat rotation is through that. The other one I had just kind of for fun, and I don't really know how this would work. But in my notes, I put something like a symbiote, like the Venom symbiote. So what if your character? Think of your character
Okay,
as like a parasite or something, where you're kind of like this life form that isn't standing on its own as its own being. You're kind of leeched onto a
right,
party member, but
okay,
Like Venom would be the symbiote. You can like that
hmm,
character that has your symbiote or your whatever you want to call it, he's going to be like amped up and have some kind of extra power, extra abilities, and stuff like that. But like
okay,
Venom as well, your character might have their own motives, um, their own orders from somewhere else. You know, it's like kind of like you're acting as the like how Percy had that raven or that god that was kind of puppeting him. Make
yeah,
that like a
yeah,
playable style character. Now that might fall under more of the reins of like a monster, but if you play it like
right.
maybe some kind of ghost, like an ancestral ghost that's like possessing a
Well,
character or
I
giving
was
them powers.
a ghost is a great idea. I had not thought of that. Like
Mm,
maybe some type of spirit possession
yeah,
where the character would get the benefit of that being's,
but like possession.
memories
Yeah,
and
yeah,
skills and stuff like that, to kind of buff them.
yeah.
I also thought my mind immediately went to, because I'm thinking of Venom and the
Hmm.
pseudopods that Venom could shoot out and stuff like that. I immediately thought of like an ooze,
Yeah,
like an intelligent ooze,
yeah,
like a an orc jelly
yeah.
or something like that, that basically is highly intelligent, has its own motivations, but for mobility purposes and the ability to kind of move around in
Mm,
public, it latches onto like a party member, and
yeah,
maybe just stays hidden underneath their outfit or whatever until
yeah.
they're needed. So
Yeah, just I was thinking of like as
that's got
abstract
some
as I could.
potential.
Yeah, I was just like trying to go as abstract as I could, but like actually make it like playable. But are any of
Yeah.
those ideal?
Well, I
Who
mean,
knows? But
that's something where the player would have to sit down with the DM, and they would have to come up with some kind of homebrew rules for it that they could come to an agreement on, that's not going to break the game
hmm,
or give that specific character a power curve over the other players, where everybody else feels like they're in the background just kind of riding
right,
sidekick for that person. So
right,
yeah. So but yeah, it's definitely got some potential. So I like it.
cool.
So I think that is all we have for you guys
Yep,
for Mace Cast episode number 17. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We hope that you have stuck with us to the end. If you have, we really greatly appreciate it. Please smash that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. It does help the channel, and it does help us get out there with the algorithm, so that more people can discover us and share in the community that we have, and the little things that we like to talk about, all things nerd and geek.
mm-hmm.
And we hope that you will consider coming back here and joining us next time in the maze. Until then, everybody have a great night, and we'll see you next time here in the maze.
Bye, everybody.